Oh man, I see we are live in direct, the heart of the black man. Man, I'm so excited. My name is Andre Vaughn. I'll be with before you with some amazing authors, co-authors, businessmen, relationship coaches, and we're gonna get started in just a second. But I'm fired up that when you come in, we have to set the energy and the atmosphere. So make sure in the comment section you put something that you are grateful for in your life. You know, a lot of times we want to go to the next level, but we don't appreciate the things that we have here and now. So I got some individuals that are going to be joining me, really sharing their heart, talking a little bit about the book, talking about relationships. But I'm telling you right now, we are at the brinks of being number one. And so throughout the broadcast, I want to make sure that you support the project, man. We ain't telling you to empty your bank account or anything. $2.99. I ain't too proud to beg. You go right on Amazon and go right there, search The Heart of a Black Man. Get the Kindle version. I'm directing you to the cheaper version, even though it's $1 million book. Get the Kindle version. Make sure you open it and review it. Open it and review it, guys. Just to help in our efforts. Yesterday we were at number 2 in the best-selling list, and so the project is moving forward, and we're simply excited about going to the next level with the project. And so we're gonna have some gentlemen come and join this side, and so you can just pop them up whenever you get a chance. But man, I got some questions for them. I know we were talking about relationships, we were talking about family, we were talking about a whole bunch of stuff before we were interrupted, but we ain't gonna go there. It's a new day, gentlemen. It is a new day. And so man, I got some best-selling authors on the line, and I'm gonna get right into it. So I'm going right to you, Dr. Phillips, since you got you before the show in the green room, you had a lot to say. And so, man, I got a question like, what are some of the unique challenges that black men face when it comes to relationships? You know, and I'm gonna go back and forth and get different perspective, but from your eyes, what are some of the challenges that we face?
You know, we face something that's the absolute most unique challenge than any other species on this earth. We have challenges from the past, the present, and the future.
Wow.
And so a lot of men don't have a father. And that's because of things that happened in the past to black men. We also carry the weight of history. So we know how we were oppressed, we know how we were treated, and we know those things that have led up to today. So what happens today is we look at images that are portrayed on us on TV. There's very if you look at the hit shows right now, most of the shows are about us being drug dealers and being ball players and different things like that. There's no positive images of us being in a competitive role. And then something else that I saw right now, if you're a 17-year-old senior in high school and you're a black boy and you're looking for a scholarship, 37 to 1 is what it is if you're a black woman. So there are 37 more opportunities for a black woman to go to college before a black man, which because we have the burden of our past and because of the weight that we carry right now in the present, then we also have those challenges that we know that our future is not going to be what we want it to be because the opportunities aren't there. That doesn't give us the opportunity, though. That doesn't give us the ability to point the finger and blame and just quit. But those are some of the challenges that when we go to women, we're not able to talk about because it's unique only to the black man.
Wow. Wow. Dexter, I'm coming right to you. Same question. What are some of the unique challenges black men face in building relationships? Dr. Phillips, you're off the hook, man. Your check is
Wow.
in the mail. Dexter.
Yeah, absolutely. Listen, thank you so much, Mr. Vaughn, for emceeing this amazing event. And look, I'm going to follow in Dr. Phillips' footsteps. This is something that I experienced between 2005 to 2008. I used to work for the Department of Administration here in North Carolina, and the office was historically underutilized businesses. And one of the things that I noticed is we started to see where, minority owned businesses includes women, right? And I started to see where Caucasian business owners began to place their businesses in the names of their wives.
Oh,
Minority. Women are minorities. And I started to see that take place, and I saw it firsthand. And I'm watching how these women were starting to get governmental contracts, and those contracts were being met statistically because it was a woman owned business. While we have African American men owned businesses, we some of our sisters got some of those contracts, but those are the things that I started to see even back then. And I started to just shake my head and say, what in the world is going on? Everything that's literally placed in our hands is being removed from our hands. It was extremely frustrating. Now, that's on that side, the business side, the government contract side. As it relates to relationships, as it relates to men and women, as it relates to how we need to show up as black men. My father used to always tell me, son, you just got to show up better. You just got to show up. You got to show up to a sense at a higher bar. Your bar can never lower itself, and that's an incredible amount of pressure. And those are one of the things, like Dr. Phillips was saying, we can't talk to people about that. Who are we going to talk to that the weight on my shoulders is 3 times yours, but I can't complain about it because I'm stigmatized right out of the gate?
Wow.
So, and that's what my chapter is about in the book, which everybody, you guys go grab the book, just go get it. It's $2.99. Support this powerful historical event. I talk about that in my chapter. It's about the professional black man. We got to show up a certain way all the time, and we can never let our guard down. Thank you, Mr. Vaughn, for allowing me to speak, sir.
And Mr. Scott, like you said, please go buy the book right now. It's on Amazon. It's only $2.99. We're not too proud to beg, man. We are right there at the brink of making history on here, and it's just so great. This is collaboration instead of competition. Now, Larry Laws, I'm coming a little different direction. And this guy is so, when I first heard him speak, I was like, oh man, he sounds like a professor. And so I got a professor type question for you, my friend. How do cultural expectations and societal pressures impact the way Black dating and relationships happen?
Wow. Well, thank you so much, Mr. Vaughn, for that. That's a great question. And I would just, just in case I may not ask for that $2.99, I want to put that out front. I sometimes call myself a professional beggar because I'm the founder of a nonprofit. I started at zero, and a lot of personal investment, but I can't do it alone. And if I can't encourage and inspire others to support and invest in the community and what my ideal and vision, then it's very difficult to get it off the ground. So I want to inspire others. And I think this is what we're doing here as a group of Black men, is inspiring and motivating others. But yes, culture. I was just asked that from one of the Asian cultures. Actually, I was doing an interview there, and they mentioned about the, how they greet, hands off, and for some of those reasons, I was like, why? But why do you not shake hands? Why do you not hug? It's because, it's some of the things that they fear. I think is a stigma of maybe Black men. A lot of individuals may be standoffish. And I have actually, my military career, I served over 11 years overseas. Some countries that I served in as a Black man, you actually treated a lot different, better, on the better side.
Wow.
And the stigma of being Black is not there. But others where that they watched a lot of TV. And so they feel that the Black man basically is in a stereotypical type of culture. And so and that's who we are. And so to blend in a little bit with the first one question was, we don't have an opportunity to be ourselves. Someone is telling us how to act, how to dress, how to walk. The commercials are telling us how to act. So that image is out there. So others assume and also expect for us to operate and perform in those ways that they deem our culture to be.
Wow. Come on, man. Go get that book on Amazon, $2.99. Go right on there. You can multitask, chew gum, and walk at the same time. Abe, I'm coming to you, my friend. Right here and right now. Question. What role does communication play in healthy relationships in the Black community?
Oh man, communication is very, very important. Not only relationships, period, but just life. One thing about one thing I learned about people, most people don't like to just be straight up, and we were just talking about this yesterday before we got hacked. A lot of people don't want to put everything on the table and just tell the truth. You know what I'm saying? The main thing is tell the truth, put it on the table, communicate. Whatever is on your mind, whatever is on your heart, let that person know. Let your significant other know. And then hey, and just take it from there, you know, because my saying is I respect the truth over BS anytime. When you BS me, I'm using the initials, so excuse me, I'm not cursing. But when you BS me, you know, I'm like, okay, no, I ain't, But, you know, when you tell me the truth, I can't do nothing but just accept it. You know what I'm saying?
Wow. Man, that's good, Abe. And again, guys, man, you are here on the Heart of a Black Man TV. We got black men doing big. And it's so funny. Even as I keep saying, oh, black men, it feels uncomfortable. It feels uncomfortable because it's like when you say black men, you get together, it's not the norm, right? It's not the norm. It's not what we already depicted as, you know, against each other or competition, or when somebody gets to the next level, you're like, oh, and I tell people it's a catch-22. It's like if I'm a bum and I'm not doing anything, you complain about me. Now, if I'm doing it big and I'm buying cars, cash clothes, and living legacies, you talking about me. So it's like, what do you want me to do? You try to put us in this box, and I got Malik Muhammad there. Malik, now I want to ask you, what really inspired your chapter in the book? Like, why did you want to collaborate with the Heart of a Black Man?
Man, for years, I've been approached by so many people over the years. Have I ever written a book? I'm surrounded by books every day for 30 years. So this was an opportunity to slow things down and say, hey, instead of a big book, a chapter in a book, along with 29 other black men.
Wow.
So I had to think about my title, From Devastation to Elevation, because I felt that was a subject that encompassed not only my own personal life, but also my business. You know, coming out of the pandemic, looking at this how our community is a plague with so many distractions and so much devastation and so much oppression. Yet, at the same time, we have a lot of success and achievements in America. And so in this country, I realized, you know, over the years and the experience and being involved in books and hearing so many voices, because we get voice to voices here, you know, I say, hey, man, look, I don't care what's going on in the community. I don't care what's happening in your life. I don't care how you start. I don't care what deck or hand you was given when you was born. I don't care if you was fatherless, motherless, something happened. A lot of things happen to everybody. But guess what? In this country, you can win. In this country, you can succeed. I say no more excuses. We can overcome. And that's why I said from devastation to elevation. Like, listen, we don't have to accept what someone else might think of us or say about us or encourage us. You know, we can chart our own path out here. Malcolm X, when his teacher said, "Oh, you'll be, you know, I want to be a lawyer when I grow up." Well, who gonna support you? Not our community. We're not gonna support you. The white lady said, and your people don't even trust each other, so they ain't gonna support you. But yet, you know, we gave birth to Johnny Cochran. We gave birth to Thurgood Marshall. We gave birth. You know what I'm saying? So, listen, we got a lot of individuals that have achieved enormous success in America. We can win. I'm tired of the excuses. We are our own worst enemy. From devastation to elevate. We got to elevate, black people. We got to elevate. No more excuses.
Oh, Malik, cut it out, man. You about to get me going crazy over here, man. I'm trying to contain myself. You said no more excuses. Excuses are tools of incompetence. Use to build minds from nothing. Those use them using mouth to nothing all. I got the Rev to my left corner in the corner pocket. excited for you to be a part of the project, Rev. Now, let's shift to relationships. Like, man, it's just like the average family done. The black male is gone, right? The black male is gone. When I went to college, it was 33-1, the ratio from women to men. In jails, they're all there. Now we see a whole nother side of the folks that are on the street. They're doing alternative relationships, which is fine. But at the end of the day, Rev, where are our black relationships headed? You know, because it's like now it's like, yeah, I'm making money, girl, and it's like this unison sometimes where it's like taking the black man out of the equation when I really believe it's the foundation and it's needed. So if you could just share your viewpoint on where's the black relationship headed. Roy Evans. Yep, you got to come off mute, man. I gave you that question because I didn't want to take it. So, and I didn't want to shift it to Dexter or Dr. Phillips. So it's all yours.
Well, when I look at where black relationships are headed, it comes to like a combination of things. Because, like say, most families, you don't see the man there, and then a lot of ladies say they don't need the man, and then that's going against what the Bible actually said. It's going against the line that the Bible has put together. So once we come together, get on one mind, and begin to walk together, and begin to stand strong. You know, if the black family begin to stand strong, there's nothing we can't do. You know, we can be the richest group of people if we come together. If we put our hatred from each other and begin to love each other, there's nothing that we can't do. And I truly believe the relationship will be stronger and stronger and stronger as long as we continue to buy and do things with each other. Even if we go out and buy things from other stores, sometimes we go to the other side of town to get it because we want to get it from our own color people. But if we start doing that, man, we can build a stronger relationship, build a better black community, build a better black America. It will be much, much better. But as long as we continue to hate on each other, talk about each other, what they wearing, what they look like, it's going to always become problems in the black neighborhoods, in the black community. So what I'm saying, we all need to come together, get up under God, and walk by faith, and continue to move forward, continue to make everything glorious in the way God wants it to be, continue to show love on each other from the great-granddaddy all the way to the little baby, to the toddler. We have to show love, and that's how we can beat all racism, all hatred. As we continue to show love in our community, we can be the greatest black communities around America. That's what I truly believe. But it have to start off with ourselves. We have to check ourselves out first. Wow. Once we begin to check ourselves out, then we can know how to go and love others. We know how to build relationships. We know how the women can depend on a man, just as a man can depend on a woman. We be able to work as a team and make things go forward. That's what I believe.
Wow, man, I'm coming to you, Dexter Scott, in just a second, but it's funny that you said that. And it's funny in other communities that the dollar circulates maybe 11 times, 13 times before it goes out. In our community, it doesn't even make it around the whole circle, a whole turn. And it's funny how a lot of times there isn't racism. Sometimes it's classism. Sometimes if we just get in a room and add value, then you'll see a different person. But because the stereotypes are so deep, they just expect us to do sometimes what we do anyway. And it goes down into the family. So Dexter, man, I'm coming to you now. And this is a little tight question. Like when you go into events, you know, I go to plenty of events. And if you're going to have a nice time, I've noticed our black women sometimes are wearing things where our men stereotype them. They're like, man, what you got on? And so instantly, when you see a young lady wearing not that many clothes and is half naked at events, what goes through your mind?
Oh, that's loaded.
I know, man. It was yours,
Oh
not
my
mine.
God. You know, well,
I wouldn't do you like that, but I'm gonna do Dexter like that.
Look, I'll tell you. And this is a very interesting question. My wife and I just celebrated 22 years of marriage a couple of Fridays ago. Tremendously blessed, tremendously happy. And I can go back to when I see those things. I begin to question, where's your value?
Wow.
See, and I believe that social media has inserted a false narrative of what our women should look like. And there's a level of competition that takes place within our Black women.
Yeah.
So I'm like, where's your where are you getting your value from? Right? That's one question that I ask, because me, I'm the type of gentleman, I'm the type of man that I will get attracted. I was attracted to my wife. I'm attracted to women when I see women professionally dressed. Because see, I'm thinking,
Long
what's
term.
going on in your mind, man? That's what I'm talking about. And when I see things like that on full display, I start to ask myself, where is your value? Where are you getting it from? Are you getting it from your mother? Are you getting it from your grandmother? And then the whole idea of, like I said, social media has just taken over. I'll share this very quickly. A gentleman that I spoke with not too long ago, we had a good conversation. He's been married. He is married. He said to me, man, I gotta ask you a question. He said, my wife got laid off from her job. And he said she started spending time at home. The pandemic drove her being laid off. And she started looking at Instagram. And then she became depressed because she started looking at how women on social media, on Instagram specifically, started adding their value add. And he said he had to help dig his wife out of a hole of depression. And I was like, wow. So, man, Mr. Vaughn, that's a loaded question, but I just start out with saying, where's the value? Where are you getting your value from?
And you did well. you did very well with that question.
Thank you, man. I
And
appreciate
being
it.
a married man, so I apologize. I didn't mean to set you up. But
No. You're good.
I
You're good.
just wanted. I didn't want to give it to Dr. Phillips. I really didn't. But but I'm coming to Dr. Phillips. And now, our music. You know, you listen to our music. And the funny thing is, I'm not the type of individual that listen really to the lyrics. I'm a beat guy, right? But then when I look at it, now that I have twin girls, you know, they're 13, I want to hear what they're repeating, right? And so when you listen to our music and you listen to the shows and the things that they say in these relationship type songs, how do you think it affects the relationship? Because the more and more you hear things, it becomes you in your subconscious, and you start acting on your subconscious. So, Dr. Phillips, go ahead and take that.
So if I could become the Reverend for a second, sorry, brother Evans.
It's okay.
You know, the Bible says that you know, it talks about the power of the tongue. You know, and life and death is in what you say. And so when you hear something over and over again, you begin to believe it. And so there is a high amount of self-hatred that is in our music. There is a high amount of, to take the words from Mr. Scott, there's no value in what we teach and what we talk about. And I want also us to think about this. Let's think about the impetus. Where is this music coming from? And so is it coming from this Black man, this Black woman that you hear over the radio or through your, you know, that you download off, you know? No, it doesn't. These come from white producers. These come from white distributors. And so they are telling us what lyrics need to be told to us. So think about this. Have you ever, you know, I don't listen to country music or alternative music or lots of other genres a lot, but tell me the last time you heard a country song where it talked about hoes, where it talked about, I slept with this woman, then I went to this woman, where it said, I'm going to go kill someone that looks just like me. So if no other race and genre of music is doing it, why are we doing it? And so what we have to do is we have to think above it. And yeah, the beat is nice. I like nice beats, but there comes a point in time where we have to say enough is enough. And it starts with us being Black men and the leaders saying, hey, I won't listen to this. I won't allow this in my home. I won't allow this garbage to be infiltrated into my children, because then what happens is, just like we talked about social media, people hear these things, and then all of a sudden you got a 17-year-old that thinks he's a pimp. You have an 18-year-old girl that wants to drop it like a thotty. Wow. And those are the messages that are taught to us at a young age. And so we have to be able to be a little bit smarter and say, we're not going to accept what's being given to us.
Wow. Man, it's so great. Larry Law, same question, man. How do you think the music and the shows affects our relationship and our family?
Yes, most definitely. I definitely agree. You know, the things that we allow to enter, you know, our ears, it becomes a part of us. And definitely, if we start repeating those things, then we begin to believe those. They becomes our thoughts, and it leads to our actions. You know, and so as the saying said, you are what you eat. You also as what you consume, even when it comes to verbal. And yes, we do need to raise ourselves above that. Of course, I love the arts. I played music for a number of years. So art and being creative. I think a lot of the art sometimes is maybe trying to display what individual has experienced or issue they're trying to raise, rather than the way I look at art and being creative is actually raising a person to a level that they would like to be, what they would like to become. You know, imagine things that maybe not here that's in existence now. You can speak things to be in existence and work in you know, towards, you know, that imagination, that dream, that creativity. And so I think that is an opportunity that members are on the stage, whether it's music or in arts, they're not taking advantage of that by really using the creativity as to giving us something to aspire and to reach towards, rather than going down or area of things that's very catchy to the eyes, you know, exposing body parts and things of that sort that is very attractive, and it gets the eye, it gets the attention, but not necessarily is educating you and leading you into a spiritual or a higher level than where you are now.
Awesome, man. I see we got the relationship coach on here now, and I'm about to pass him just in a short second. But Dewan, I gotta come and get you. I want to ask you a quick question. What are some of the ways a man can support a woman who's an entrepreneur?
Most definitely, just believe in her dreams. I think just like as man would like women to believe in ours. Nevertheless, it's just an all action thing, and you know, a woman has to really feel that you really support her. You have to be willing to kind of take that backseat role and let her shine. And you know, and I've dealt with ladies who are entrepreneurs and they have their business going on, they have things and initiatives and vision that they like to get to. And you know, you want to support that. There's nothing better than having a lady or support women who are striving in all ways and facing adversity at every level, just to get that product or merchandise or name out there or brand. I think I believe in that. I believe in us as just being creators of entrepreneurship, just creators of our dreams. And so nevertheless, I think that's a beautiful thing, man. It's more attractive too when they're walking in their light, and so you see a man as us as strong individuals always kind of setting the tone and creating those paths. Watch us stand on those foundations, those structures, and being behind it 100%. There's no way, and there's no way that we want to see. And I have to definitely give a big shout out to all the ladies that's doing entrepreneurship, that's been grinding for a long time and making waves, and just doing it without the help and support. So when we do it and we support them on that level, the impact is much greater.
Wow, man, again, big shout out to the ladies. Hopefully they're going right on Amazon too and buying the book, $2.99, The Heart of a Black Man. Go search it up. Make sure you open it. And so you can help us with our quest. They've always been the backbone of whatever we do. And so that's why I'm so excited. And so we're about to bring Dr. Rael, but I am going to charge Dr. Phillips to kind of take the ball by the horn, move it around. We still got Ab that's got to speak again, Malik Muhammad, and bring the relationship scientist. And I know you good with the scientists. And so I will pass it on to you, my friend. I appreciate all of the folks who've already had the spirit of obedience and not disobedience, who've already went and shared it. Click like and make sure you comment, share, and go by the heart of a black man. My name is Andre Vaughn, and I'm going to hand it to you, Dr. Phillips, and so you can get our relationship scientists up and Mr. Lane and Mr. Muhammad back up. So I'm going to throw it to you, my friend. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. I just hope I can take the baton and not slow it down. I want to keep the relay moving as fast as possible. So, Dr. Sims, are you ready?
Yes, I am.
Okay, so let's talk about like careers. And so in today's time, in America, it's a capitalistic society. You got to have a nice house. You got to have 2 cars. You got to go on vacation. You got to have the nice shoes. And at the same time, you got to get promoted and different things like that. So talk to us about how do you juggle all of those expectations, your wife's career, and raise a family?
Say the last one.
And raise a family at the same time. So you got kids, you got your career, you got your wife's career, you got to buy the cars, you got to get the houses, you got to go on vacation. How do we do all this?
Yeah, how to maintain and keep a vitalized, cohesive working relationship is very important to focus on self. And what I mean by that is the 2 of us, the root of the family. I think we focus on the outside of the family so much when it's really important to focus on the root of the family. The root of the family is the 2 parents, right? We have a plant and we see the beautiful leaves and the beautiful flowers, but really the root is at the bottom. That's what's really important. And how you water that root, right? And how you treat that root. And I think it's so important to understand novelty to keep us with that vitalized, harmonious, cohesive working relationship. So novelty is something so important as far as doing other things. There's a lot of couples that actually break up just because of so much focus on work, so much focus on education and all of that. Not saying that it's bad, it's cool. But you have to understand that you have family. But what's really important, see, I live originally from Chicago. And when I experienced a major earthquake, you couldn't get your money. You couldn't get in your car. You couldn't go to a restaurant. All you had was each other, right? And how do we survive with each other in this world that we can't even get any of those things that you just named in the bullet points, right? So I think it's really, really important to focus on making sure that each other, you and I, are happy, making sure that we are less stress, less depression from less stress, right? So focus on making sure that we're happy. We put so much focus on all of the worldly things, right? And not think about self-health, right? Making sure that we are healthy, making sure that we are creating a love environment between each other. And I think that that's really, really important. I could keep going, man. I don't know if I can even when I start talking about.
But let me put you on the spot. Let me put you on the spot here, Dr. Sims.
Yes.
Whose career is more important? Like when I have a career, my wife has a career, and the kid is sick. Who makes that sacrifice? How do we as Black men make that call?
Yeah, that's when communication comes in, because we actually don't put on our boxing gloves against each other. We put on our boxing gloves against the society because they're at war with us, right? So that's where communication comes in. It's the key, right? To have that communication and even have that communication before that even happens, right? What do we do in a certain situation where one of us have to not go to work or one of us have to quit, right? And through that, we have to evaluate which one is more important, like you said, which one is more important as far as the finances is coming in, that's paying the bill, right? But not about who's right or wrong, but about how and what we should do that's going to help the family. Not about, hey, well, my job is more important and all you do is, right? Or all you do is, right? But what can we do to keep that that synergy amongst our relationship? I hope I answered your question, but it's really about that communication. It's really about mature, intelligent conversation, right? Mature. You have to come into this as a team, not about, I'm right or you wrong. It's about sitting down as a teammate, right?
Mhm.
And using that strategy as to what's best for us, right? As a
Yes.
family.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Thank you. So Dr. Sims, Ab just talked about the mental health, and you and I are probably in the best shape here. My stomach is round, yours is flat, so I'm in shape. You're in shape. Just depends on what type of
I
shape
got a
you want
little,
to say.
lump.
So, you work out quite a bit. How important is physical fitness and how a woman looks in a relationship?
How important is it to the
No,
man?
I was going to Brother Lane.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Okay. Repeat the question.
So how with you being someone that's into fitness and in great shape, how important in the relationship is the physical fitness of a woman?
I'm so glad it wasn't the question wasn't toward me. So
Hey,
thank you.
I asked the brother that
Go
work out
ahead, Brother
every
Lay.
well, well, in my case of physical fitness is very, very important. And dang man, you just really had to ask me that, put me on the spot on that one. Huh? Yeah, yeah, being with me, physical fitness is very, very important. I mean, because if I could go to work, drive a truck, be in that truck for 10, 11 hours a day, and get out that truck and go to the gym and just give an hour or 90 minutes of my time for for my health, to help me look good, to help me with my mind, just I feel the woman should be able to do the same thing, because you have to take care of these body parts while you have them. You know what I'm saying? Because most of this stuff is not replaceable, but it's not replaceable. Working out, healthy eating, all that is important, and whoever that's dating me, they're gonna have to do the same thing. So
I got you. Well, I
yeah,
appreciate
so
it.
it's very, very important.
I couldn't answer the question because I got a belly, so I can't require some woman to be in shape. So,
Or I mean, or if not that, I will help them get that.
gotcha. There you go. There you go. So, Brother Muhammad, I'm going to keep drilling down, and we're going to keep asking difficult questions. Okay. So there's a song out that says "Black men don't cheat," right?
Okay.
We know it happens sometimes. So why do black men cheat? When we in those few times when we fall short, why is that?
Confusion, ignorance. Listen, it's a multitude of reasons why we do that. In this society, we're raised to be violent, to be licentious, to be other than self. You know, for we might have good parents or we might got bad parents, but one thing's for certain: the common denominator in society is it's teaching all of us, men and women, to be contrary to your nature and to God. We lie to each other because society is a liar. We cheat each other because society is a cheater. Listen, we just a victim and a product of what's being done in America, all across this nation. Yes, I say no more excuses because no one, what I'm saying is that we've been taught a certain way, but it don't mean we got to be that way. We have enough knowledge. We got the most educated black men and women probably on the planet. We have more resources, $1.5 trillion to come through our hand in America. We got no reason to continue to make these mistakes or errors, because I don't really see them as they error. We intentionally and willfully. I've had relationships with women and I've had, a commitment and a dime on my side. I've been there and I've done that. I've jeopardized my family. I've jeopardized, my fortune by being ignorant, by being selfish, by being, if loving you is wrong, I don't want to be right. And so a lot of us, listen, we allow our emotions to take control of us when the most greatest gift given to us is our mind and our soul. And we need to take control over our body. We got the power within us to not choose death and destruction and devastation. We making these choices that's only leading because we're allowing our emotions to run us. Listen, I'm not a man that's against if you desire to have an open relationship and have multiple women. But if you are lying to each one to do that, it's not appropriate. And
so with that being said, Brother Hamid, I know a lot of people in our audience are going to have some questions. So I want the audience to ask some, to type in your questions so we can get them out here to this great panel. But Dewan, let me ask you this. So they say the key to a relationship is communication and open dialogue between the two people. But when you're looking for a woman, what are some other qualities outside of communication that men should be looking for, and what's important?
Really always talk about loyalty, and definitely you hit it right on the mark. Communication is key. But when we have communication, then that creates a gateway for understanding, because you're meeting a woman and you're two different people trying to establish a life together. And so I think those conversations will lead to understanding. So some of the needs and wants that I may have or a man may have, in addition to the needs and wants what a woman may have, and you try to kind of tie those things in. And I know one thing for sure, man, loyalty is an important piece right now. Now I know relationships are very short-lived nowadays. I know when I look at my grandfather and grandmother, they've been together for 70 years. And they have the ups and downs that they've had, and continue to persevere through it and raise 11 children, right? And grandchildren and great-grandchildren. And they may not always like each other. May have heard a lot of different things, but they stay together. Nowadays, relationships, you might be with a relationship, for 2 to 5 years, right? You may be looking for something else, or she may be looking for something else. But if you have those understandings, right, you have those values, and you're talking about how you want to write out different things that you want to see in this relationship. And those are some of the things that I have, in the past I haven't done before. But at these times now, if I'm wasting my time, I didn't even say wasting my time, but if I'm giving my time to a better half, then I want to not waste my time. So I look for understanding, I look for loyalty, respect, the way that we talk to each other, the way that we engage one another. Those things is critical, because that dictates your outcomes. If you're talking to each other all crazy and you're disrespecting each other at every level, then you're going to have a disrespectful, toxic relationship. And if we're trying to strive for better, when you talk about the Black family, you're talking about having a union so our children respect what we have, then we have to show it. We have to be the examples and exemplify it at every step of the way. And so those are just some key pillars that we'll look for, because one day the beauty will fall, right? We become old, right? And it's necessarily not about that no more. It's if we can stay in the same room together.
Reverend Evans, take what Dewan said and just add to it. What other things should we be looking for when we're looking for our mate? Take yourself off mute for me, brother. Reverend Evans, you're still on mute. There you go.
One thing I'll look for in the mate, she got to be spiritually fed. She got to be a woman that follows after God's will, and got to be a woman that loves me for who I am, as I would love her for who she is. It don't have to go by what she looks like, but it mostly is her relationship with God is the most important thing for a relationship that I'm in. Like with my wife, she loves the Lord, I love the Lord, and we both love each other. And with that, you can build a strong family. You can build us, because it starts off with a strong foundation. Once you have that strong foundation, which is God, you can move on and build a strong family, and that flows over into the community. But you have to that's one thing. You have to find that spiritual connection, and I believe that that's a strong thing. Just because when you think about it, our great and great grandparents, that's what they all lived off of, the Word of God. And now, to me, it seems like it's watered down to now. But if we continue to still live on the Word of God and show the love, the spiritual love that God has given for us, and I think every relationship gets stronger each and every day.
You're absolutely right, Reverend. We are called to be men of God and spiritual leaders. So, Dr. Sims, in today's pipeline in the prison system, where we know mass incarceration was invented for the Black man, there are a lot of Black women that say, "Hey, there's not enough men out there that are in my league or can compete with my stature." And some of it is because, like, there's a lot of Black men that have gotten a felony when they're 17 years old and they get out when they're 26 and they want to do the right thing, but they're so far behind. How would you advise a couple that has found love, they love each other, but based upon that man's record, he'll never be able to become a six-figure earner, but he's in love with the woman and she's a quote unquote boss? You're still on mute. You're on mute.
Yeah, thank you so much for that. I'm very passionate about that question. So there was a term that we use a lot about submit. I think it's important for woman, my interpretation, my hypothesis of what is under that umbrella of submit, and it is submitting your intelligence unto me. And what I mean by that is, right now, right now, as we're talking, there is a submarine in the water that we can't see. But that submarine in the water is there to protect us. And if anything happens, that submarine is going to launch missiles to stop any nuclear bomb that try to come, right? So our woman is also our protector as well. And she is also the part of, when I say submit your intelligence unto me, is to be there to say, to have my back and to show me how. I know this might sound like, well, how do we, you're supposed to be a man, and how do I show you how, right? It's because you've done it. And that's some of the things that we are afraid to do as woman, because we believe you have to do it on your own, right? So, and let me give you an example. So a guy loses his job, or in the situation that you just mentioned, and he's a plumber. He lost his plumbing job, right? And he's out trying to find a plumbing job, and he can't find a plumbing job, right? He gets stressed and, could cause depression, right? And so submitting your intelligence unto me is saying, hey, babe, look, I know you out there trying to find a plumbing job, and I know it's tough for you that you can't find a plumbing job, right? Because of your record too as well, but you know everything about plumbing. Why don't you create your own plumbing business? That's submitting your intelligence unto me, right? And letting me know that you have my back. It's because it's not about, well, you will never get there. It's about having that team. When the gentleman just talked about communication, right? And it's having that team, and what is it that I can do to help my significant other? And that's submitting that intelligence and having him to create his own business. And so many women probably could relate to this, right? And realize, wow, I gave my husband that advice, and now he's six-figure. We're millionaires because we own the biggest plumbing business in the United States of America, right?
Yeah. So that takes a lot of emotional maturity. And so let me ask you this. So there was someone from the audience that said it's hard to find love because there's so many fake people out there. And I think that when you get older, people are a little bit better. They're a little bit better at hiding their representative. So when you're in this dating climate, how do you get past that representative to get to the real person?
Yeah, I think it's so important to take out time to understand self first. I usually tell women, you're the employer, us men, we're interested in trying to get the job. So I think it's so important to make sure that you take out that time to know self, because know your business. I mean, it applies to men too. Know business, because if you don't know your business, when you put that help wanted sign up, you don't know the questions to ask the person who's trying to get the job. So I think it's so important to know the business first, right? And knowing the business is knowing the questions that you're going to ask, right? And being an empirical listener in order to respond correctly. So I think it's really important to understand your non-negotiable requirements, understand your needs, and understand your wants, and understand that those three are different, right? Real fast. So, I'm trying to cook a meatloaf, right? And I have all my ingredients in front of me, right? And so can I make that meatloaf? If I take that meat and put the meat away, can I make a meatloaf now? No, but some of us still try to do it because we're not focusing on our non-negotiable, right? We're not focusing on what's so important to us as a non-negotiable requirement, right? But I put all my ingredients together now, right? I got the meat, the ingredients and the seasoning, and I got it all together. So now I need what? I need heat in order to cook that, right? So today we have options. We can cook it in the oven. We can cook it in our, the air fryers and all of this different type of ovens and stuff like that, right? And then our wants, something that we've been taught for a very long time, is just to focus on our wants. What kind of car does he have? What kind of house does he have? Is he making six figures? And vice versa, right? What does she have, right? So we're focusing on wants, right? So what I usually ask audiences, once we get the meatloaf together, wants isn't really that important, because we can put whatever we want on that meatloaf. Some people say mustard, some people say ketchup, some people say tomato sauce, some people say turkey gravy, right? Those are our wants. But that's what we were taught a long time ago, is to focus on our wants. And that's not really as important as understanding your non-negotiable requirements and your needs. So I think it's very important.
No, I love that. And I love how you talked about like asking the right questions to get to that. The Heart of the Black Man, I would say, is probably one of the best works of our time. And I want to ask Larry a question, because in this book, when I read it, I see multiple stories about Black men, and pain is a theme in a lot of these chapters. And we're told to mask our pain. We're told to hide our pain. And then we go into relationships hurt. And because we have to be strong all the time, it causes our relationship to misfire a little bit. So how do we deal with the pain and still live life and love our woman and love our families and move forward?
Well, Dr. Phillips, I really enjoy that question there. And having many years of experience in the military and since have left the military, I think some of the doctors have used the term discomfort in reference to pain. But a lot of the pains that Black men feel, some of it is physical and some of it is mental. A lot of our wounds are, from military, is not necessarily visible to the eye, but there are pain, there's suffering there. And speaking of very many experiences that are working with individuals with pain, whether it's a relationship, you have to allow yourself most of the time to get help, or to, when you speak of that communication with your partner, you have to allow yourself to be vulnerable. So if you're not vulnerable and actually let them know where you hurt and how you hurt, then how can that area be improved or massaged? Now, getting individual to that level, that relationship, I started early. I'm on my going into my 40th year. So I got married when I was 15. Well, almost. It's 39 years, but married early. And we went through a lot of pain, but we grew together. And so not a lot everyone started that early in life with a marriage that's lasts a long time, but we grew together. But because of that, I guess these relationships, you have a maturity in the relationships as well. So when that relationship, and they mature at different speeds, sometimes they mature in 2 years or 4 years, but I think you want to reach to where you can get to that maturity level that you're comfortable within yourself, because I think you have to give love, you have to have love. So if you have that within yourself and respect within yourself, then you allow yourself to be vulnerable and actually say where it hurts. And if it's a partner, the communication is there, then they will understand that, and I think we'll give back and be able to improve the situation.
I like how you talked about vulnerable, and so like Dewan, like vulnerability a lot of times can come off as weakness. So how are we supposed to be vulnerable and not be weak? Because when we're labeled weak and we get in an argument with our woman, she can say some things that'll cut us to the core. So how do I do that?
I know it's a hard thing for us, but we have to trust the process. I know a lot of times, man, men are expected to be strong at every level. And, especially with our woman, like they expect you to be strong at all times and think that you're supposed to take whatever they're dishing out. And sometimes it can be very harmful, right? But if you allow those things to be, you be vulnerable, right? You can say, hey, listen, and it's not saying it being in a weak type of way, right? It's because I love and I appreciate our relationship so much that I'm willing to open myself up to vulnerability. And that's a chance you take, and when you're dealing with females, and when they see that in you, that kind of opens up the door for them, right, to be vulnerable. Because if we're sharing the space and we're able to go ahead and communicate, and we can share what hurts us, and not saying being emotional, but really kind of express, right, what's on our mind, what's in our hearts, then that actually makes the relationship closer, and it builds a bond that we want to have with our woman. If it's anybody we're gonna be vulnerable with, it should be our better half. And so, I'm working on that myself, day in, day out. Always just trying to make sure that I express, how I feel. I know my lady once told me that, hey, you don't let me in sometimes. And so what she's really saying is like, you don't share your feelings, or you don't tell me what's on your heart. And a lot of times you put those things to the side because for whatever reasons, you just want to make sure that you don't get hurt. We have to open up ourselves and kind of denounce all those masculinities that we carry, just so that we can meet them at their level. Because women are very emotional and they're very, very vulnerable. They will open up to you, and those women are expecting the same from the man. So it's trusting the process, and that's something that we dwell in every day.
So along that process, let's take that out of the psycho emotional thought process and let's put it into like life. And so, how can women better support us in life as an entrepreneur, or being a leader, or trying to get promoted at somebody else's company?
Well, I think a lot of times sharing what your dreams and aspirations are to that woman, so then that way they can internalize exactly what you want to do and how they fit in. So I know we grind 24/7. I'm at the office right now. I've been here since 7 in the morning, and so anybody who is in a relationship with a person or a man that's just kind of grinding and hustling and moving things forward, they have to go ahead and be the backbone. And sometimes that's doing not only just making sure that you're eating and making sure that you're getting up and you're on task, but in ways that they can fill in. I just ran a campaign for state representative last year, and so the lady had to be all right. She had to be the manager, had to answer the phones, get out there and run around and put literature out there in the neighborhoods. It takes a grind, it takes a team, and so when you're part of this 2-person team, And listen, whatever role we need to play, that's what we'll do. And then, you know, I saw the beauty in that. I appreciated that, right? And nevertheless, I'm truly indebted for the sacrifice and the contribution that was made towards the team. So, and it makes us as men, you know, value what we have, and you want to take care of it, because if a woman is your backbone, she's helping you move your initiative forward. What we have to do is ensure that, hey, listen, let me step back too now when it's your time to shine, whether you need to be supported in any form of way, then I do exactly that.
Absolutely. So thank you for that. So this question, as we wrap up, I want to ask to everybody. I want to ask all the men this question, because this is a narrative that I think was not created by us. And I feel like this is something that has been programmed into us. So as we wrap up, how do we get rid of this narrative where our women feel like they have to be strong, independent Black women? Go ahead, Rev. I want you to start off answering. Why, women don't want to be independent, and so they're tired of being have to be strong all the time. What do we as Black men need to do as we wrap up to change that narrative?
Well, one thing is, I would say always be there for them. Let them know they don't have to be independent, because if we depend on each other, we can help the family grow and be stronger. And we don't always have to be walking around strong and like a pit bull. No, we don't have to be like that. We can be like a little rabbit. Just be there for her and continue to show that we're supporting her and we're there for her no matter what she's going through, and lift her up and keep lifting her up.
Lift her up. There you
Don't
go.
have to show our muscles, but just keep lifting her up with love.
What do you say, Brother Muhammad?
That's a great question. I think it starts with, brother, us controlling our future. I think we got to control our education. And we have to also, if you build a house and you're in a community with a lot of thieves, you got to build a fence around and security, protection. We got to be able to protect, not just respect and protect our women. I don't think our women feel safe. I don't think they feel protected. I don't think that we as Black men have done a good enough job. I think we could do better, and we must do better. And I think we have to control our future. I think it's very important because the woman is the future of the next generation. And so when we were defeated and conquered, what happened is she became the prize of the oppressor. And so she's been treated like a treasure, and she's been, given things in a way for us to be divided. We're divided as a woman and as a man. We're a lot of division between us, and we have to first show them protection and security and respect. So that's what I think, brother. I think we got to control our future, and we got to stand up and be the kings that we are, because humanity is indebted to the Black man, because the Black man and woman, the women gave birth to humanity, and the Black man built the world and gave science, math, art, literature, and mathematics to the world. That's the kind of man she used to. And right now, we haven't been that kind of man. So we need to be like Mansa Musa. He's still the richest man in the world.
What do you say, Larry? I saw your face when I asked that question. You lit up.
Yes. And so, yeah, a little bit. Yeah. Again, I not a chauvinist or anything of that sort. I had 10 sisters, but, and I'm the youngest, but it was expected of me not to be a sister. It was my father expected different from me. My mom, there was a different expectation for me. I'm from Arkansas, and there is woods. We went down trails. Never would ask my sister, even though she may be, my oldest sister is 80 plus years old, but I would never ask my sister to lead me down that trail. And so it was my responsibility to take point. And I think if we're in a relationship as men, I don't think the income and I teach financial literacy. So it's the best manager of the money should be the best manager of the money. And so it's nothing wrong with you bringing in more money, but you may not be the person that need to manage it. So get the best manager on the team to manage. But I think we have, I think, a different vision, and we definitely have, in most cases, have a different physical strength. And so we as Black men supposed to take that point and not set back and think that we should be the the second person going through in a level of danger. And so I think taking the lead, you lead from the front, not the rear.
Love it. Mr. Robinson, take us into your neighborhood. How do we change that shift? And so women don't have to say we're strong and independent, that they're strong and independent.
Okay, can you say it one more time, Doctor?
Tell us how do we shift the narrative? Black women are saying too much that they're strong and they're independent, and they don't want to be. So how do we change that?
We got to soften them up. I think we have to definitely do what's necessary. Take our natural role in this place in this world. Stand up to be resilient. Stand up to be strong Black men. Stand up to go ahead and protect our women, provide for our women, right? And ensure that they know that, right? They have to understand and feel that. A lot of women do feel like, hey, they've been holding it down for a long time, and kudos to every woman who has done it, my mothers and grandmothers included. But they don't have to be that strong no more. They say that as a defense mechanism. They say they have to be the mother and the father because they really want them fathers in those children's lives. They don't want to be independent as much as they may proclaim to be. They really want to be taken care of, coddled, right? And just showcased and showing off to the world. So I think for us, man, let's just take our rightful place back in this world, take our rightful place back into this woman, right? And then ensure that, that she never has to look that type of way or feel that way ever again. And I want to add this point too, it's been going on since the days of slavery, right? And, our women have seen, unfortunately our men be, just done in horrific ways, right? To the point where they felt like they was unprotected. And, it continued on with the policies with, removing a man from a house, right? Just so women can receive some type of resources, right? And service. And it continued on now, man, for, perpetuating that same behavior because sometimes brothers just, may not necessarily see, that woman as a priority and, want to kind of move around, do what's necessary at the time. But actually, at the end of the day, God created a woman for man. Right? So we have to take advantage of that blessing, and we have to do what's right. But then also, man, that's giving praise to the Most High, man, for what He has given us, and we don't take it for granted anymore.
Absolutely. So we're going to close it up with Dr. Sims, the relationship scientist. Go ahead and mix some things and cook this up for us. How do we change that narrative so that women, our Black women, don't have to say that they're strong and independent? Dr. Sims?
The man to say about that independent thing, because that independent thing was also, it was just a word that was replaced with, I don't need a man as well. So I don't need a man, independent. It was a way of separating us and breaking us up, right? Because every living, breathing creature on this earth have a need to belong, no matter what. We all need each other. So it's very important to understand that if you say independent, like it's, by myself, on my own, I don't need you, right? And I think it's very important to understand that we do need each other. It's very, very important that you need me because I need you, Black woman. I need you. And I think, that's something that woman doesn't hear either, right? That I need you because we think it's only about her needing us. We need each other. That's how God created it, right? But we, with this machialistic, egotistic, narcissistic, draconian way of thinking, right? So we're putting this masculine thing on it where you just only need me and I'm the man, right? No, I need you too, sister. We need each other. You know, in order for me to get to where I'm getting, hey, let me tell you real fast. President Obama didn't become president by himself.
Right.
No. Michelle helped him. You understand? You know, so we need each other, and it's so important, you know, and we need, I mean, right now, as we're talking, somebody is pumping oil right now to turn that oil into gas so we could use that gas into our car. We need everybody. We need everything. So when we, you know, come up with that, that's impossible. God didn't create us like that. You know, that's why it's so important for us to, you know, just to be focused on each other and self. I'm trying to go all the way out, but hey, it's just important. It's really important to relate this conversation that we're having as Black men to say, sisters, we need you. So if you get to the point where you're saying you don't need us, I'll tell you, okay, you could say you don't need us, but I'm telling you, we need you.
Absolutely.
Okay.
So thank you for that. I want to thank my wonderful co-host, Mr. Andre Vaughn, and all of the authors that tuned in today and dropped their knowledge. One of the people that viewed the broadcast said that she checked in late but got very, very full. And so what I would say is, if you want your cup to run over, go right now, order the book, get it downloaded. It's only $2.99. We got Mother's Day coming up. It's a great Mother's Day present. We got Father's Day coming up. It's an excellent Father's Day gift. So go out, support the project, because we need more projects like this. And if you don't support it, things like this won't become a reality ever again. So we thank you. We love you. God bless you. Have a good night.